Hi there, I'm Gina Gardner and this is day 6 of a 7-day happiness challenge. I work with many people and I've got over 30 years experience of helping people step into their genuine power to feel happy, resilient, fulfilled. One of the things that I have recognized over the years is that happiness, like so many things in life, is a choice. And there are lots of things that you can do, that you can choose to do, that can help you feel happier. Today's part of the challenge is all about being more childlike, not childish, but actually recapturing the way in which small children see the world. And in doing that, recognize just how amazing the natural world is, how the life that's full of play and laughter will be happier. When you look at small children, they can make play out of anything. A leaf that they found, just looking at their hand and looking at the veins and their fingernails, that they can make games out of a box of cardboard. And what they are looking to do is to be curious, to explore, to learn. And as an adult, it's often easy to forget just how enriching, how happy it can make you to learn, to explore, to be curious, to be playful. I mean, when was the last time that when you walked along the road that you, if it was autumn, that you kicked your feet through the leaves, or you splashed in a puddle, or that you went and walked along the beach and paddled? When was the last time that you laughed? I mean, truly laughed. Not just a gentle, polite smile and, a bit of a chuckle, but really found something that made you laugh to the point where your eyes watered and your nose ran. Because not only does laughter create all of the feel-good hormones, the endorphins, dopamine, serotonin, it has the capacity to just make you feel totally and utterly alive. We talked in this about living in the moment, and you can't laugh without being in the moment. Recognizing that looking for opportunities to laugh, to play, to enjoy life, make a real difference. And it's easy to forget that when you listen to the news and that you're busy, getting done the things that need to be done in life, to lose sight of the fact that actually, even when you're doing those, you can be truly playful, that you can look to recognize how often in life there is the opportunity to see things in a very, this is such hard work, or to recognize that you can enjoy doing even things like the washing up. You can take every opportunity in life and you can play with it. If you're a parent, when was the last time you actually got on the floor and you played with your kids? Played a board game, or played a game created out of your imagination, or went over to the park and just played football? If it's all about the routine, down-to-earth drudge things in life, then that's going to bow you down. When you're trying to create a project at work, even there I would say, looking for ways to make it feel like it's play, even though it's very serious and that you've got to get things done. I'm talking about the approach, because when you're playful, you're likely to be more creative. When you're not so hung up on things being done in a very specific way, but you're curious about how you can make things work, it's amazing how the possibilities open up and that you can be playful, but at the same time take things, recognize that it has to be done, and it has to be done well. But in that playfulness, find a way of being much more open to a range of possibilities and to do things differently, and out of that difference to really find yourself creating something which is very worthwhile, and perhaps open, has more dimension than it would have done if you had just thought, I've got to get this done, it's got to be done, rather than, okay, I've got to get this done. So how can I make this as enjoyable and as creative as possible? Now, of course, there are jobs which are really, really difficult. But I want to share a story with you because I think it's pertinent. And that was that I was on a course with Tony Robbins, and you may not be familiar with him, but he's a very, very well-known motivational speaker and trainer. And he talked about going to an ashram in India, where the deal was that you got your accommodation for the 3 weeks you were there in return for 6 hours work. Now, Tony Robbins is a very, very big man in all senses of the word. It is over 6'7". And he was put on washing up duty. And he went to do his washing up duty, and the building wasn't actually tall enough for him to stand up. It was very hot, very sticky. Not a great job, is it, washing up? And they had thousands and thousands of people who came to this ashram, who were being fed and watered, and so there was lots and lots of washing up. And he had a very miserable day. He spent the whole day thinking, what am I doing here? Surely they could have found me a better job than this. This isn't great. And by the time he got to his bed at night, and bearing in mind these beds were designed for somebody much, much shorter than him, so his legs were sticking out at the end, he gave himself a really good talking to and said, do you know what? I've chosen to be miserable. I'm going to make a real shift in the way in which I approach this. So tomorrow I am going to make this the best day I can make it. I'm going to be playful. I'm going to look for opportunities to laugh. So he got up the next morning in a very, very different energy. And he went into the washing up hut or whatever the building was. And he was playful. He was curious about the people around him. They ended up singing and telling each other jokes, and the whole day was a day of light-hearted humour. They got the job done. In fact, the job was done quicker and better than it had done the day before, when his misery and his sense of outrage about having to do this job had, like a virus, spread around the room, so everybody was a bit fed up. But he then talked about how this time in the ashram, while he was washing up, the conditions were no better. It was still hot, it was still sticky, it was still too short for him. And yet it had been the best time. And that was because he'd chosen to approach it in a very different way. He'd chosen to approach it in a way which was light-hearted, playful, curious about how he could make the best of it, and a time where ready to laugh, prepared to laugh. And it made it a joyous time, a time to be really engaged in what he was doing, present in the moment, but actually choosing to be playful about it. So my challenge to you is, whatever you're doing, whether it's something you actively enjoy or not, is to take a different approach, and that is to be playful about it, to be light-hearted, to be curious about how you can experiment with your approach and what you're doing. I'm not talking about necessarily changing the task, but actually the way in which you approach it, and being more playful. Looking for opportunities in your life to laugh more readily and more often. Now, that might feel a bit uncomfortable, a bit strange to start with, but I don't know if you've ever been in a group of people where somebody started to laugh, and actually the laughter starts to spread. I'm reminded of a time when I was at school, and my mum was very embarrassing when she came to school concerts. But she came to the concert, and there were a row of chairs where the chairs were hooked together. And something had happened, and my mum started to laugh. And I always had one eye on my mum, because I knew that she would do something that would make her stand out. Well, that's my perception. And so I could see her laughing and the head bobbing, and gradually as she laughed, so it went along the row. So in the end, the whole row was laughing. And that it was catching in the same way that misery and negativity are catching, humour and lightheartedness are catching. And so if you can be lighthearted and you can laugh about things, then not only will you find them easier to manage when life gets tricky, if you can look for the humour, it makes it much easier to manage. And by looking for the humour, looking to be playful, looking to be curious about how you can make things better, then you will find that you are happier just by the very nature of the fact that your approach to life has changed. Love to know how you get on, love to know what your challenges are and how you've used humour and playfulness to help you. Please let us know through the comment box or through the website, which is genuinely, then a hyphen, and then the word you.com. That's genuinely-you.com. There's loads and loads of resources on the website, free resources and other courses as well. You can sign up for my free TV series, Genuinely You TV series, and you can get a free digital download of the latest book, Thriving Not Surviving, The 5 Secret Pathways to Happiness, Success and Fulfillment. Whatever you do, choose to make things different if you are not already living a joyous, happy, fulfilling life. You're the common denominator in every part of your life. If you don't choose to change things, well, nobody's going to do it for you. So, day 6 challenge is to choose to be more childlike, not childish, to be more playful, to look for opportunities to laugh, to be creative. And I'll look forward to seeing you on day 7. Thanks for joining me. Do pass it on, do share it. We need a bit more happiness in everybody's life. Take care now. Lots of love. Bye.